this again is part of this continuing confusion with the SBA. Thank you, Ms. T. Completely crazy. I spoke to a woman at the servicing center in Texas a couple of weeks ago because I had the business owner on the other line. He had paid for the 1-hour consulting call, and I called the servicing agent, and I had the client on the other line. And I said, well, what if he just sends in a lump sum payment to bring it current, because he can do that right now? And she said, well, Trevor, if you send the payment into us, we're just going to forward it to the U.S. Treasury.
Okay, so that's the answer.
It's not the answer.
It's not the answer.
It's not the answer. Because back in October, a small business in Indiana hired us because they had 2 different businesses, 2 different COVID EIDLs, each for $500,000 each, which means there's a personal guarantee. And one of the businesses, through no fault of the business owner, had to close. Not economic conditions, nothing like that, but the business had to close. He wasn't making any payments. So he hired us to discuss his options, and bankruptcy was not an option for him. And to go back to KPAD's questions, I explained to him how the process goes. Once a file goes to U.S. Treasury, then at some point, the IRS is going to get involved and start doing wage garnishments. If you are an employee of your business and you get a W-2 salary, wage garnishments, offset of tax refunds for business tax refunds. And if you have a personal guarantee, then potentially
it's already happening
of personal tax refunds. And in the case of this particular customer client that I was speaking to, he's in the medical field, so they get federal payments through Medicaid or Medicare, I forget which one it is. And so that could affect their ability to get payments because of the offset. So there's so much to go wrong. And he just said to me, personal bankruptcy is not an option. Gene, I'm going to answer that question for you in just a second because I have up-to-date information based on an SBA webinar I attended the other day. In any event, we called the SBA, and this is back in October when the SBA agents would still offer you the option to make a lump sum payment, bring the loan current, and then send an email and request the status be updated. So we did that, except my client didn't send in the email to update the status until December. He made the payment in October, and finally, so I spoke to the SBA a week ago yesterday, February, 5th or something like that, and the SBA said to me, yes, Trevor, I can see that he made the lump sum payment to bring the loan current, and I can see that our servicing center is still working on updating the status in the portal, which completely contradicts what the SBA said in the webinar that I attended the other day and what generally they say about if it's gone to U.S. Treasury and what they're telling you when you call, what the collection agencies are telling you and what the U.S. Treasury and what the SBA is telling you. There is complete chaos and confusion.
Yes.
Okay,
yes.
So what did the administrator of the SBA who was on the webinar, what did he say to answer Gene's question? Can we put Gene's question back up, please?
Oh, yes.
As per the SBA, as recently as this past week on the webinar I attended, SBA will send your file to U.S. Treasury when you are 180 days delinquent. So, Gene, you're at 64 days. You have a chance to save this and pull the fat out of the fire, as they say. All right.
No, I'm thinking.
So, Gene, how are you going to do that? What you're going to do is you're going to request hardship accommodation if you cannot make a full payment.
Stat.
But before you do that, I would strongly recommend, Gene, if you can, to make a full payment to bring it current if you're 60, so that's 2 months of payments. I would recommend going into your MySBA portal tonight and making a full payment to bring that loan current and then request a hardship accommodation. But to be clear, the SBA states for all loan sizes, not just loans under $100,000, but for all loan sizes, the SBA will offer a hardship accommodation even if you are 60 days delinquent. Essentially, what the SBA administrator said on the webinar is, we will work with people who are attempting to make payments. And we've said this all along. We've done live videos. The last one we did was a few months ago. But every time we had questions like this come up, every time we did our pre-recorded videos, my recommended strategy as a former banker was make payments because you can't be faulted. Although apparently you can. Okay? So this is part of what we're going to talk about.